Welcome back, friend. Chords. So here we go. Everything comes in threes, you know. Music that doesn't become noise always has three things, even if they're not all happening at the same time. It's got to have melody, it's got to have rhythm, and it's got to have harmony. And chords are harmony. And we're going to start with the simplest way of being able to build up how you can change those chords around in an efficient and usable way for you to play some music. So let's get started. Here we go. Now the first thing is your hand has a spiky profile when it's flat. Yeah? So when your hand is flat and you're not bending your knuckles, you have this spiky profile. So what we want to do is we want to curve our knuckles. I'm showing the big camera there. We're going to curve our knuckles and we're imagining a pencil. And I'll link a video to this. This is just about posture, but I want you to see that you want to relax. You want to imagine you got a bit of water in here. You're not spilling it out anywhere. Again, I don't want to go too far with this because I've got another video to send you to about posture. But the main thing is what's happening is you're flattening this line. This line becomes straight with your fingertips. See where that's going? Like that. So in that spiky profile, you can do all four fingers if you want, but we're only going to be concerned with these three for the moment. But yeah, you get used to making that flat line. Now what you'll find is that I'm going to just forget about the pinky and just stick to these three fingers. Once you get those three fingers in a straight line, you can't squeeze them together hard enough that they won't land on any guitar on three strings. Even this, I don't know if I can pull it into shot here. Even this electric guitar, which has got a much narrower nut. The strings are closer together. But you'll find that, you know, the distances between different guitars is not that great. We feel it, but it's not that great actually mechanically. So these three fingers, so you can see them, will line up on any three strings. But we're going to line them up. I'm going to go from the third finger because you want to start that way because you'll never fit them exactly vertical. You know, you'll never fit them exactly in line with the fret, and that would cause you some stress. So you just want to realize this is going to be diagonal in the fret. So you got your third finger there right next to the fret. You're going to tuck your second finger next to it and your first finger next to that. Now you're not bothered about squeezing here. You're not bothered about trying to get the notes to ring. You just want that shape where when your fingers are touching, you can't squeeze them together hard enough, like I said, that they won't land on strings. Now once they're touching, they'll move like a paddle. They'll move together. You know, these guys would be separate. But if you had like a BBC wildlife camera and you watched like a hummingbird's wings turn into from a blur to turning into something like this, you'll find that if you were trying to move your fingers back and forth without touching them, that they would be kind of like Mexican waving along, sort of, you know, undulating along. They wouldn't be in perfect sync, you know. But if you touch them together, let them sit, a little bit of tension, not much, just enough, and they'll wiggle together like that. They'll move like a paddle. And that's what you want first. So you want that sort of general relaxed posture, your thumb behind the neck. This camera is only good for this angle, so I'll just do that stuff, you know, this wrist stuff with this camera. So I'm talking to you now. You got these three fingertips, and you got that shape, you got the flat thing, and you just want to tap. Where's the microphone? You know, you just want to tap on the B string where you set it, the G string where you set it, hopefully you know the names of the strings, and the D strings. The second, third, and fourth string you're aiming at here, and you got these three fingers lined up and you just want to tap on there. That's all you're trying to do. Now once you're happy with that, you're tapping away. I don't know, I should have been looking at this camera here. there is what you're after. Just being able to do that. Your thumb can be up or down or whatever, but you just want to feel where that placement is. It's hard to keep this guitar still. That's it, just tapping. That's step number 1, all right? You got your squeeze. This is an A chord, that's the root A. And you got these 3 fingers, and you're just tapping away on these guys at first. Okay, so you got your placement, you got your tapping. The next step is, now you want to think, forget about these 2 fingers, and just see if you can get this note to ring. That's the bottom note. And you could do it this way around, and add them one at a time. I had a little buzz there because the further away I get from this fret, the more it's going to buzz or chancely have buzzing. See, if I just push a little bit, and I want to do it on a smooth string because I don't like that sound, but so you're just trying to get where they ring. So you just get to the point where 1 string at a time, you get them to ring. Now once you're comfortable with that, you're not trying to push your finger against the wood, and you're not even trying to push the string against the wood on the fretboard. You're just trying to get the bottom of the string. Here's my string. You're trying to get the bottom of the string to hit the top of the fret. That's all you're trying to do. You're just trying to get the bottom of that round string to hit the top of that round fret so they meet. As soon as they meet, you'll find once you get a little tiny bit more callus on your finger, you'll probably find that that'll make it ring. Anyway, so you're trying to get, that one's going to be a little further away, isn't it? Because of the fact that you can't fit your fingers, you can't get your hand crunched up in there enough. That's it though. You get the one and each one to ring. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to try to just lift enough so that they go dead. And feel what that sounds like and everything. And then you push them back down. And then you do that a bunch of times. I don't care how many times, but as much as you feel like. But what you're not doing is lifting your hand and letting your hand evaporate from the shape that it's in. You're keeping your fingers touching and you're getting them to ring. And doesn't even matter if that's dead. If I'm strumming that could be dead and no one will know. You can fix that later. What you want is 3 ringing notes. The chances are you're not gonna mess with the A string. If you are messing with that one, you probably do want to fix that because that means your fingertips probably not right on the D string. But that's it. That's like step kind of number 2. You found your placement, you got your tapping, you got your flat line, you got all that. Now once you got that, you're going to go another step further than that. I keep trying to look at this camera, it's making me move that, sorry. So then what you're going to do is you're going to go ring, 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 plink, plink, plink. Now here's the tricky bit. You just want to lift it enough where it's rattling against your fingertips. Kind of tickles. And that's all you want to do with your pick, your thumb, whatever you want here. It doesn't really matter about it as long as you're striking the strings. But you're not letting your hand evaporate, like I said, the shape to disappear. You're keeping them touching. You're keeping them exactly above the finger, above the string and the fret where you had it before. And you're feeling the rattle of that, and you're listening for that buzz. And you're trying to get the accuracy. I'm not going to get that one very good. Trying to make it ring as long as you can while it's rattling. And you'll feel that under your fingertips. Now once you got that a couple times, you're going to do this, and you're going to ring, plink, and then rattle. Back to plink, and back to ringing. You can do it a couple times each if you want. see what I'm doing? Just that variance in pressure makes a difference. No one tells you to do this. No one ever does. I've never seen anyone but me say this, but I've done this with people over the years, and I see who progresses and how fast they progress when they do the things that we do together. All right, so you got that happening. The next thing, one last step with this, you're gonna do all that, get the buzz, then you're gonna lift it up and get the open notes. So now you got ring, 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 rattle, 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 plink, 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 ring, 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 plink, 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 rattle, 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 open ring, ring. So I'll do it slowly. Now, I know that sounds a bit wacky, but that's what you want to do. You won't have to do this with every chord. You do it with this one, the straight line A chord, with this one first. Then the next steps are easy. Now, you do that enough times, you'll start to realize that you can skip the plink and the rattle, and you can just go and put it back. And your fingers, I'll do it again with that camera. Your fingers are just slowed down and tapping, but getting a bit further away than they were when you first started this tapping. So we're sneaking this into your body with a lot of little tiny messages that all go in the same way, which is to try to get these fingers touching and moving together like three amigos. And that's what you want until you can do this. Now it's happy days, because all you're going to do, you're just going to try strumming, let's say like 4 times is a good one, because there's a lot of equal 4s in music, and you're just going to go. You're really aiming for the 5 strings if you can, but if you get the E string in there, if you worry about strumming another day, what we're worried about now is the mechanics and the theory of the mechanics and the evolution of these minute movements, sending that message to your neural system that says this is really all I want. I'm not making a grip on a cricket bat. I'm not, pounding anything. I'm not getting white knuckled about anything. I'm relaxed, and I'm just going like this with my fingers together. That's all I'm doing. And then I'm putting a little pressure and getting a sound, taking it off. And that's all you want. Nice and slow, don't have to be that fast. So you're going to go, let's say 4 strums each, like this. A 1, 2. All right, the next step now is to just cut that down. Let's just go right to 2 strums. Trying to land right next to the fret with my 3rd finger. Diagonal cross from fret to fret there. You see that? That diagonal shape there is what I have to do to get my fingers to fit in there, and they will fit. Now, once you're happy that you can do 2 strums, why not just do 1? Now, we got other videos about strumming, but when you strum down, it's really 2 movements. It's down and up. It's really down, miss, down, miss, down, miss. So you hit them both. Down, on, up, off. Down, on, up, off. You might want to even start like that, slow like that. Now you'll find that if you do that, you might get that far just from this video, But if you do that for a week, you'll find yourself going sooner before you know it. You never know. It depends on your physiology. But that's all you're trying to do. A couple of minutes at a time a day, whatever else you're doing to practice. You're just trying to get that A chord. Now, the next step, we're going to do all the steps, is if you imagine that straight line, I'll do this into this camera, and I take this finger and I push on it. So I might do it in this one as well. So if I take this finger and I just push it backwards, I end up with a shape with these 2 fingers together like they were. It's a bit of a bright thing there, and this finger pushed back. Now what you'll find is that when I offer that up to the guitar, I get this E chord. And all it really is I've squashed this finger backwards. And what you want to do is you want to try and hold that shape, just like you did with these three together before, only now instead of being next to each other, they are still touching. Get the angle here. They are still touching side by side, and they will still move like a paddle. So you just tap. Get used to those three fingers together, and they're tapping along like that. You know, not worried about anything. And then do the same thing. Try. And I won't repeat all of it again because I don't want to have a 40-minute video saying the same thing 3 times. But that's all you're doing, just what you did before. You get them ringing. You know, one example's okay. You get them plinking. You get them buzzing. And then you go off and back to rattle and back to plinking. Oops. And then back to ringing. And then you try the same thing. But don't let your hand go floating away like that. You know, you just want to go. If you start floating, then just go back to tapping. Just relax, touching side by side. They'll stick together. Even if you got just enough tension to stick them together, then you relax. You find where people are sticky, will get stuck like that, and they'll move like a paddle. And then you just back to going like this again. Now you reach the point where you're going to go over the next couple of days, and you're going like this. Now what you'll find is that if you can do that, you can do this. Say 4 each. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and then you can do this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right? Now, if you've got that far, back to your straight line, if you do the inverse of cursing and you push that finger down a bit, they'll still move. Get it once you get there. It looks funny, it'll feel funny. They'll still move like a paddle once you got them sort of locked in this little knot like this. And I put that on the fretboard and I got a D chord. So that's going to be your first finger and your third finger and your second finger. Now you might want to put finger 1 and 2, you know, in this cascading order of what you're probably, you know, your brain wants you to do 1, 2, 3, you like that. You get the Avon doorbell, ding, 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 and that's fine. Now when you look at other videos I've done, some of the things we talk about is priority and cascading. So when you're playing a tune, you might end up cascading 1, 3, 2. But if you go 1, 2, 3, or all together, doesn't matter. But you get those guys touching once they're on there, and you tap for a while, and then you do the same thing. Ring, plink, rattle, open, rattle, plink, squeeze, and make sure they're ringing. And the same thing. Build it up. It's a different shape. You know, it's not going to be instant, but it won't be the same journey you had with the A chord because you've done it already and you know your brain's expecting all this. And by the end of your little journey, any chord you want. I always check things with La Bamba. Cheated there because you can move a D chord up to an E. In fact, you can do that with all your chords. That's a separate video. But anyway, once you get that, you can start finger picking them. Can't get the camera off. There it is. So that's the first steps in transitioning. And you won't have to do this for every single chord you learn. Trust me. Once you're starting to hop around like that, you won't have to have your fingers sticking together anymore either. You'll just find that whatever chord you learn, you just find that whatever shape it is, because you did these in this meticulous way, you'll have to do a little bit of this, but it won't be this big long process like you went through for these three chords. But remember, it's just a straight line from a spiky profile, and then whichever of these two fingers you push backwards gives you the shape of the other chord. And once you get that so that you can wiggle it, you can tap whichever one it is. You can even form it in the air before you play a chord. I know that if I did this, you know, that shape there, almost looks rude. There you go, that's my C chord. I didn't change anything, look. Put it down here, look. I got it here, way out there. And just land it like a little hovercraft or whatever. And I got my C chord. So just the same process though. Tapping, you know, just building up, building up. All right, I hope that makes sense, and I hope you give it a try and think about it. Go through it slowly. Don't push yourself too far or too fast. But if you stick to the process carefully and stick to everything that we just did, you know, all those little things, the little steps that we went through, you'll find that this will work. Thanks for going along with us this far, and have a great day. Catch you next time.